Hello friends, welcome to the Microtalks YouTube channel. I am Kunai Ranna, pursuing second year MSc Microbiology in Central University of Tamil Nadu. In this video, I am discussing about bioremediation of toxic waste sites. Let's come into the introduction. Toxic wastes. Toxic waste are hazardous materials that can pose significant threats to the environment and human health. These waste can be classified into various types based on their chemical composition, origin, and environmental impact. Below are the types of toxic wastes. Chemical waste includes organic and inorganic chemicals, solvents, pesticides. Heavy metals like lead, mercury, arsenic, cadmium, chromium. Radioactive waste. These are waste from nuclear power plants, medical applications. Industrial waste. Waste from manufacturing including chemicals and metals. And waste from municipal waste, oil and petroleum waste, medical waste, agriculture waste, construction waste, plastic waste. Let's discuss about toxic waste sites. Toxic waste sites are locations where hazardous substances including chemicals, heavy metals, radioactive materials or other harmful pollutants have been improperly disposed of, spilled or stored. These sites pose significant risk to the environment, public health and wildlife due to the toxic nature of the contaminants. These are the common examples of toxic waste sites. Superfund sites, abandoned industrial sites, mining sites, areas where mining operations have left behind heavy metals and other pollutants in soil and water, and oil spills. Oil spills contaminate both land and water bodies, causing long-term environmental harm. Now, characteristics of toxic waste sites. This leads to contaminations. Soil, water, both surface and groundwater, and air may become contaminated with dangerous substances. And it leads to health hazards. Prolonged exposure to toxic waste can cause serious health problems such as cancer, neurological damage, birth defects, and respiratory issues. And environmental damage, the contamination of ecosystem can harm wildlife, reduce biodiversity, and pollute natural resources. We can see here how pollutants affect the health of humans, plants, and animals. Let's coming to the main topic, bioremediation. The definition of bioremediation is the process of using biological organisms, primarily microorganisms, bacteria, fungi, algae, plants and other biological agents to degrade, detoxify or transform hazardous pollutants into less harmful substances. It can be applied in various settings including soil, water and air and is particularly useful for treating sites contaminated by toxic wastes. Coming to the types of bioremediation, there are two main types of bioremediation techniques used for cleaning up toxic waste sites. First one is in situ bioremediation, which involves treating the contaminated site without removing the pollutants. The process is carried out directly at the location of contamination. Common methods for in situ bioremediation is bioventing, increasing oxygen levels in the soil to stimulate microbial activity that breaks down pollutants. Second one is phytoremediation, using plants to absorb, accumulate, or degrade toxic waste substances. Biodegradation, microorganisms are introduced or stimulated to degrade toxic substances like hydrocarbons, solvents, and other chemicals. Fourth one is bioreactor. Using a controlled environment promotes the growth of microorganisms that degrade contaminants. Coming to the second type of bioremediation is ex situ bioremediation, removing contaminated materials and treating them in a controlled environment away from the original site. Common methods: land farming, spreading contaminated soil in thin layers to promote microbial degradation through aeration and nutrient addition. Composting, a form of bioremediation where organic materials and contaminated soil are mixed to encourage the breakdown of pollutants by microbes. Biopiles, contaminated soil is piled to and treated by aeration and moisture control to enhance microbial degradation. Bioreactor treatment, Contaminated soil or waste is replaced in a large reactors where microorganisms break down pollutants in a controlled setting. Now discuss about mechanisms of bioremediation in toxic waste sites. Bioremediation mechanisms depend on the type of contaminants and the biological agents involved. These mechanisms can generally be classified into microbial processes, plant-based processes, and combined approaches that exploit both biological and chemical processes. First one, microbial mechanisms. Microorganisms, particularly bacteria, fungi, and algae, play a central role in bioremediation. They can degrade or transform contaminants into less harmful substances. The main microbial mechanism of bioremediation includes biodegradation, biosorption, bioaccumulation, biotransformation, and bioleaching. Biodegradation. Definition of biodegradation is the breakdown of organic pollutants by microorganisms into simpler or less toxic compounds such as carbon dioxide, water, and other byproducts. These are two types: aerobic biodegradation and anaerobic biodegradation. Example of biodegradation is pseudomonas species are common in biodegrading petroleum hydrocarbons in contaminated in soil and groundwater. Second one is biosorption. The passive uptake of pollutants by microbial cell walls or their extracellular structures, such as polysaccharides or proteins. Mechanism of this biosorption is microbes absorb contaminants onto their surface, reducing the mobility of harmful substances and preventing them from spreading. Example, chlorella can absorb heavy metals such as cadmium, copper, and lead, reducing their bioavailability. And third one is bioaccumulation. The uptake of contaminants by microorganisms, plants, or animals and their concentration in tissues. Mechanisms. Microorganisms and plants accumulate pollutants like heavy metals or organic chemicals in their cells or tissues, either detoxifying or storing them in less toxic forms. Example, Pseudomonas putida can accumulate heavy metals like cadmium and lead, immobilizing them in non-toxic forms. Last one is biotransformation. The process by which microorganisms transform contaminants into different chemical forms, often making them less toxic or more easily removed from the environment. Mechanism. Microorganisms modify contaminants such as metals or organic compounds through the enzymatic activity. Example, oxidation, reduction, methylation. Example of this, thiobacillus ferrooxidans can transform toxic metals like arsenic into less soluble forms, making them easier to precipitate or stabilize. The final one is bioleaching. The use of microorganisms to extract metals from ores or contaminated soils by solubilizing metals into a more accessible soluble form. Mechanism of this bioleaching is certain bacteria release acids or enzymes that break down metal sulfides or other forms of metal, making them more soluble and easier to recover. Example, acid of thiobacillus species are used in the bioleaching of metals like copper, nickel, and gold from ore. In this table, we can see type of microorganisms, type of pollutant, and type of mechanism by remediation. Coming to the second type of mechanism of bioremediation, plant-based mechanisms. Phytoremediation is the use of plants to remove, degrade, or stabilize pollutants from soil, water, or sediments. Plants play an important role in bioremediation through several mechanisms such as phytoextraction, phytodegradation, phytostabilization, and phytovolatilization. Coming to the first one, phytoextraction. Definition of this one is the process by which plants absorb contaminants from the soil through their roots and concentrate them in their leaves, stems, or other above ground plants. Mechanism. The contaminants are then either stored in plant tissues or transferred to the plant's above ground parts, making it easier to harvest and remove the metals from the environment. Example, sunflower. can absorb and concentrate heavy metals such as lead, arsenic, and nickel from contaminated soil. Coming to the second type of phytoremediation is phytoremediation, the process by which plants degrade organic pollutants into non-toxic or less harmful forms through enzymatic action or through the metabolic activity of associated microorganisms. Mechanism: plants may release enzymes that break down organic compounds such as pesticides or solvents or microorganisms in the rhizosphere of plants may degrade the contaminants. Example: poplar trees can degrade the organic pollutants like trichloroethylene and other chlorinated solvents. Third one, phytostabilization. The use of plants to immobilize contaminants into the soil, preventing their spread or uptake into the food chain. Mechanism: plants either immobilize contaminants in their roots or create a barrier that prevents the movement of pollutant to the other parts of the environment. Example: willows and Indian mustard are used to stabilize contaminants like heavy metals in soil, preventing their leaching into groundwater. Phytovoltaication: the process by which plants take up contaminants from the soil, water, released as vapor into the atmosphere. Mechanism: plants absorb volatile contaminants such as mercury or selenium through the roots and release them in gaseous form through transpiration. Example: Indian mustard has been shown to volatilize selenium from the contaminated soils. Coming to the final mechanism of bioremediation is combined mechanism of bioremediation. Some bioremediation strategies involve both microbial and plant-based mechanisms working together to clean up toxic waste sites. These combined approaches may enhance the efficiency of the bioremediation process. Bio, First one, bioreactor systems. A controlled system that involves the treatment of contaminated materials like water, soil, or sediments with microorganisms or plants. Mechanism: contaminated material is placed in a reactor where biological agents, bacteria, fungi, or plants are used to degrade, absorb, or transform the pollutants into controlled environment. Example: bioreactors may be used for the treating wastewater or contaminated soil using microorganisms with plants or fungi, providing additional degradation and stabilization. Second one is remediation. The use of plant roots in combination with microorganisms to remove the degraded pollutants in the rhizosphere. Mechanism: microbes associated with plant roots such as bacteria and fungi they can degrade pollutants while the plants may absorb or stabilize these contaminants. Example: certain plants like willows and poplars form a symbiotic relation with the microorganisms in the rhizosphere, enhancing the breakdown of organic compounds like petroleum hydrocarbons. Let us discuss about challenges in bioremediation. Site-specific factors that are variability in contaminants and soil properties like pH, moisture, temperature can affect the microbial activity, and these are time consuming. This can take months or even years to fully remediate certain sites, and these are regulatory challenges. Lack of uniform guidelines for bioremediation and complex pollutants. Mixed contaminants may require complex, multifaceted treatment strategies. Future trends in bioremediation. Genetic engineering. Developing genetically modified organisms to enhance biodegradation capabilities. Nanotechnology. Using nanoparticles to enhance the absorption or degradation of pollutants by microorganisms or plants. Integrated approaches. Combining bioremediation with other methods, example chemical or physical treatments, for more efficient remediation. And final one is microbial fuel cells. Research into using bioremediation to generate clean energy while cleaning up waste. Coming to the conclusion, uh, bioremediation provides an effective, sustainable solution for cleaning up toxic waste sites. And by utilizing natural organisms, bacteria, plants, fungi, bioremediation can reduce pollution, restore ecosystems, and improve public health. And sell to action. Investment in bioremediation research and implementation is crucial for the future of environmental management. These are my references. You can check it once for more details. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Kavya ma'am, for giving this wonderful opportunity. Thank you.